Okay, great. Before you guys get started with the quiz, so there's a couple things I want to talk about. So one of those things is solution, right? So a solution is made up of two major things. One of them is called the solute, and the other one is called the solvent. Solute is dissolved in the solvent. Solute is usually the one that is the least. Solvent is usually the one that is the most. Okay, how many of you guys have made Kool-Aid? Okay. 6 hands go up. I want to see if you guys have made Kool-Aid. Okay, so I'm going to ask you. So when you're making Kool-Aid, did you guys make the Kool-Aid that already had sugar in it, or did you make the Kool-Aid that you had to add the sugar? Okay, good. So what would be the solvent in the case of Kool-Aid?
What'd you say?
What would be the solvent in the case of Kool-Aid? The water. So the solute would be a combination of sugar and the Kool-Aid packet, right? So that's an example.
Then what would the sugar be?
Would also be part of the
The solute?
solvent.
That's not that much.
Yeah. Okay. That's all I want to say.
That's not.
Yeah, that isn't. Stop making fun of my third grade handwriting. Oh, the second one? It is. Yes. So you guys have to remember, you have to purchase active learning this week, right? This is the second week. We've completed our second week, right?
You got a coupon code?
I don't have a coupon code. It is
It's like $40, right?
43.99. Yeah. Well under.
Or the three of this. So it's 3.97.
No.
Yeah.
So let's say for instance, right? So if you have 3 waters. Right? Right, so the number is
And my mom really is my check.
we use the shares.
My mom really my check.
Check for what?
Well, what else, money,
I'll let you know.
it's $200. Because it's mailed to my house.
Have somebody sit over there.
You gonna give Jack your pass?
No, always empty.
That's. Okay, so. now, I timed this, like, right to the side.
You can't put it in front.
Want to
This
be in the
whole thing,
Okay,
right?
so in front of everybody, so it's 2 and. Would I have to turn this time?
It would be, yeah, that's right, it's this times this. And this times that.
And then so I would have to swing it.
Ew, yeah.
And then
that
what I
would
have
be-
to.
Yeah.
But it doesn't look like this, right?
Nope, it's not.
It would be 2.
You can use your notes. What's that?
Two, and then you turn this, will be 4. And then this is cheap. And then there's a 2 and over here, so they're on the same, there's 2, but then you have the 10.
Oh,
And this is just 2. But this is not balanced. What? Can I put
first one or second one?
a- my first one? Are you on?
I'm in first, yeah, the first one, the second one, third one, I don't know.
I just first check. I think that's just because you need to get 5. So you have to put 5 over 2 to time it out, and then multiply everything times 2.
Yeah, so you know.
I might feel like there's a lot of work.
So I have to.
I just asked if you can like this, right? So it's 2 and 2. 5 over 5.
The only thing you need to change is the.
Yeah. I'm stressing.
So far it works out, so that's a total of 10, that's what we're doing. Yeah, right. And then how do you balance this? No. Yes. Oh, crap. Hold on. Sorry about that.
How's that?
Does that help? It'll help now. So that's C. So it's C4H10O3 yields CO2 plus two H2O. I mean, two H2O. Yes, I can. So try it.
Because I just talked about everything.
So, if you ask a question, I'll say.
I know these two are balanced
Okay.
so far.
Okay.
But how do you use five?
So let's think about it, right? So what number could these go like, yeah, 5 over here. So what could you multiply this by over here? And then multiply this by this whole sheet over here. So that they'll be- Getting what?
10.
That is correct. So the answer is 10. But is it 10 that you're gonna multiply by, or is it gonna be 1, 5? That's right. So you put 5 there, and then what do you put there? A 5 in front of it.
So I write down how much is on each one.
What
That way.
times 5
Like,
is
I see
10?
these two are the same, so does that mean that?
5 times 5 is 10?
Oh, it's 2.5.
Okay, so then we have to put that. Okay, so then now. how many-
What they want you to do is like.
Right here.
Yeah,
Why?
so there each one. So how many nitrogen? So how many do you have right here? Okay, so then cross it out. This one actually has to be nitrogen. Right?
Hold on. I called dibs. Hold on. Oh, the 5
Okay, so
white.
then when you just put it over here, because this is a 2, right? So then you put okay.
Like when you can't get something that's not a point.
Okay. Do me a favor. How many of you guys have completed your quiz? I'm asking you a question. How many of you guys have completed your quiz?
It's work in progress.
It's a work in progress? Okay. How many of you guys remember anything that we talked about last week?
I have the notes, but I kind of did.
Okay. How many of you guys looked at the notes ever since you took? Be honest, no, don't lie to me. Be honest to me. Be honest with me right now. Here's an opportunity to be honest, so I don't bust up on you.
I have no idea what it means.
When I was.
So that means, so if you didn't have anything what it means.
I mean, I
Wait, wait,
understood
wait,
it.
hold on, hold on, wait, let me ask you. So do you guys know that you guys can go to Mesa and borrow Mauricio? Mauricio is in the lab, in the Mesa lab, almost every day from like, when he's not in class. So every day he's over there, right?
Is that every day?
Pretty much every day. Yeah, he's there pretty much every day. And you guys know that your tutor is Angelina, and she was here today. I saw her earlier.
I
Did you
asked her,
guys,
but she was gone when I got to her.
Mister? You guys knew that, right? Okay,
Well, no.
so I'm gonna give you guys a deal. I'm gonna give you guys a pass on this right here, right? We're gonna go over it together. You have another quiz on Wednesday. If you get a low grade, right, on Wednesday, I'm gonna give you 2 low grades. Okay, it'll be a double. Okay, double or nothing. You guys are gamblers? How many of you guys are gamblers? Excellent. I got a couple of gamblers here. So you know what double or nothing means, right? Right? Okay, so let's talk about this. Okay? But if you can get a bag grade, you get a double bag grade. Okay, so let's start off with the first one. Let's give it some more. Into 45 yields. Plus. Okay, so first step is to do what?
Are they balanced?
Okay, write them out. So I have an N and I have an O. No. Okay, so how many N's do I have on my? How many O's do I have on my? What side is this called anyway? Reactant. That's right, that is the reactant. Okay, and then on my product side, how many N's do I have?
2.
And then how many O's? Now, what is that number that goes in front of the N2O5 compound called? But what? It's called the coefficient. Okay, so since we know that this is called the coefficient, what is the coefficient that we need to put in front of the N2O5? 2. So if I put a 2 here, how many nitrogens do I have now?
4.
How many oxygens do I have?
10.
Okay, if I go to the other side. Other side, so what do I need to do? Go in front of the N. 4.
Add 5.
And that gives me 10. So we're completely balanced. So we know we put a number that's in front of here. That means we're talking about this entire, what is this called? If it's 2 different of the compound. This whole compound, right? Okay. And so we know that if we put a 2 in front of this nitrogen, nitrogen here is what? It's a molecule, element, or diatomic element. It's also a molecule, right? Okay. We know that we're talking about just that nitrogen. If you see that plus, that means we have to start talking about some steps, right? Okay. You guys remember that. Okay. So, ready to do the next one? Everybody got this down?
What's the name of the equation on the right side? So we have reactant on the
Product. So we make products, right? So the arrow points to the product. Okay, so our next one. So remind me to tell you guys the key story. So what are we going to do? Okay, we got CHO. Fire. We got fire right here. Come on. Who's going to help out here? So what do we have on our reactant side? 4 carbon. 10 hydrogen. 3 oxygens. Okay. And then on our product side, 1 carbon, 3 oxygens, and 2 hydrogens. Okay. Is it balanced? No. What do I need to do? What's the magic? Put some number somewhere.
Add a 10 in front of the reactant side for oxygen.
10 here?
Yeah.
Okay, so then that would give me. No, that'll give me
Oh my
30.
God, I did wrong.
Okay, so we're not gonna put a 10 here?
Don't do it. I messed up.
Okay, don't put a 10 here. Okay, so we're back at 3.
Put 13 in
I can put a 13 where?
that oxygen.
13 in front of this oxygen?
And
Here? Okay. Put a 13 here. That's 39. Okay, so we got 39 oxygens.
How many to make down?
Okay. So we got 3 and 39.
How'd you get, you get 13?
Okay, so let me give you guys a little advice. Can I give you just a little advice? Are you gonna listen to take it?
Yeah.
Gonna listen to take it? Promise? Okay, a little advice. So when you see something that has O and O over here, don't start with that, right? Don't start with the oxygen. That's a hot mess. Yes, ma'am.
You could put a 5 in front of
We can put a 5 in front of the hydrogen. So you're saying in front of this hydrogen over here?
Yes.
Okay, so we're gonna put a 5 here. So then that would give me a total of 10, right? So then that'll also give me, how many oxygens now? We're at 7. 7? Okay,
Put a 4 in front of C.
okay, so put a 4 here.
Yeah, and then you're gonna have the 8 and the 5 together.
Okay, so we have 8 plus 5, that's 13. Oh, is that how you got that 13?
Yeah,
Right?
that's right. That's right, yeah.
That's how he got the 39, right? And in theory, right? Okay, so,
One over the number, army.
oh,
I
yeah.
don't know what
So
number.
let me erase the 13 right over here. Can I erase the 13?
C4H10.
Okay.
Can we try?
So, wait. So you're saying, what are we gonna do?
Can we do 13 over 1?
13,
Oxygen?
13 over 1?
Can we do that?
Okay, so if we do 13 over 1, 13 over 1 would be 13 over 3, right? I mean, so then that'll be 39, right? We did 13 over 1. How about 13 over 3?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
thought it was
wait.
31.
Wait. Because this is a 3, right? So this is a 3. If we go 3 times 13 over 3, 3's are gonna cancel out and we're not gonna change that. Right?
Yeah.
Okay, do you guys see that? So now we have 13, but we know that we can't cut people up in thirds, right? So we gotta do what? We have to multiply everything by 3 to get rid of the denominator. You guys remember getting rid of the denominator, right? So then we multiply everything by 3. Three times, because everything multiplied. This is gonna be counted out, right?
Yes. Oh, I see. It's only gonna choose the numbers that we got. So
No, it changes everything. You're multiplying the whole equation by 3. So you guys remember in math, long time ago, I know it's been a while for some, right? So if we did this, 3 times x squared plus x plus 1. What do I do? Do I just multiply it by the first one? I get rid of the parentheses and then I get rid of the exponents?
like the.
What did you just say? I distribute, right? So that basically means that if this is 3 times, that dot means times, then it's 3 times 3 squared. Then it's 3 times x. Then it's 3 times 1. You guys remember that?
Oh.
Is what you say. 3 times x squared, right? 3 times x and 3 times 1. Right? Okay. You guys remember that? I know it was a long time ago, right? Yes, so this is the compound, right? That's how it's fixed. You can't fuck with when it's fixed, right? Leave it alone, right? That makes it who it is,
No matter what.
right? That's like your react, right? So I can't add somebody to you to make you somebody else, right? You are react. That's who you are, right? That's who this is. You can't change who it is, right? So once you know the chemical formula of what you're talking about, you can't change it. You guys understand? So like H2O is always going to be H2O. What is H2O? It's water, right? It's always going to be water, right? So it's always going to be H2O. Okay? Whether it has a 5 in front of it, that means we just have 5 waters, right? Instead of just 1. Does that make sense? Okay? So you can't change this part of it. You can only change the coefficients. Okay? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. How are you guys doing? I feel that we gotta do a couple more to make sure that you guys understand, right? I'm not feeling confident yet, but let's finish the quiz first. Okay, so what are the minimal two components of a solution called? Okay, how many people listened to me at the very beginning of the lecture? Okay, so solute, say it, solute, and solvent. Okay, solute and solvent. So what is the solute? Okay, so another way of thinking about it as well is the stuff that's being dissolved in, right? Solute is the stuff that's being dissolved in a solution, right? Or that's being dissolved in a solvent, right? So it's the one that is the least that we have. Okay, so did you guys complete the image? Okay, so if I'm going in this direction, from a solid to a gas, what is that called? Deposition?
Yeah, deposition. Oh, never mind. Opposite. It's opposite.
Are you sure? Okay. Okay. Sublime, sublimation. Deposition. Okay. And from a liquid to a gas. Welling, it's vaporization. Anybody make vaporization? Is it start off with a liquid and then it becomes a gas? Okay. Vapor. Okay. Condensation. Okay. From a solid to a liquid. Melting. Okay.
Freezing.
Freezing. Okay.
It's on the second page.
Okay.
On the top.
In third grade handwriting. Okay. So take a picture, right? Take a picture. Upload. So this is your freebie, double or nothing on Wednesday. We have gamblers. Okay, so let me tell you a little bit about Newton. So, how many of you guys studied this weekend? Did anything this weekend? How many of you finished the homework already? That's due tomorrow. Right? You guys know it's due tomorrow.
Letters.
And you can look at your notes, right?
Yeah, I look at the notes, I'm still in there. So
You're just a hot mess.
yeah, that's so frustrating.
Okay.
Absolutely. So,
Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna see if you can fix that hot mess, right?
I hope so.
Okay. Okay, so when I was in college, I had a girlfriend, right? And it was sophomore, junior year, right? And I had my first quiz, came in, my first quiz, didn't do a good job. It was kind of messy, you know, stuff like that, because I spent the whole weekend with my girlfriend, you know, that's like, you know, we got it, you know. So anyway, afterwards, I got that bad grade and I thought about this. I'm like, okay, she's real pretty and all, right? But she ain't gonna be so pretty to pay my paycheck, right? And so, you know, what was that? She got a good beach. Good. Okay, I'll remember that. So I'll keep that in mind for my next girlfriend, right? So. What was that?
So we're trying to tell them what we have right now. That's what it said.
Anyway, so So I told her, I said, you know, I need a little time to study and everything, right? I said, if we can hang out, I said, I get my study done, and then we're cool, right? And you know, of course, you know how that goes, right? So you're like, oh yeah, we're gonna study, and then nothing ever gets done. So then I screwed up on my second exam, right? My second quiz. And so I'm like, okay, wait a minute. I came here to get an education, right? So mom and dad ain't paying for it, right? So I'm having to pay for it. I'm working 2 jobs. I'm seeing you. I said, you ain't paying for it, right? And so I said, okay, so something's gotta happen. I said, you're gonna have to get out, or you know, I said, so this is the deal. I said, so I study, and then I said, at night I come over, right? And then we can start going and all that, and then morning, you know. Okay, so she's like, okay, that's good. So, you know, that worked out pretty well. And then about 2 weeks later, you know, she kept just saying, and she had an accent. She was actually from Kenya. And she told me, she's like, Nuki, Nuki, Nuki. That's all you ever think about. She says, you dream about Nuki. I was taking a class called nuclear engineering. That was a class that I was struggling in, right? And we call it Nuki. And she was like, Nuki, Nuki. Okay, bad job. Point is this, right? I know you guys got things that you want to do, right? But your ass is here for an education, right? You're paying top dollar for this, whether you realize it or not. You're either paying taxes, right? Paying for it one way or the other, or you're gonna be paid for it on the field or sitting in the sun or something like that later on. So take advantage of this opportunity. This opportunity has not been around for everybody all the time. Women weren't allowed to go to school at a point. Black people weren't allowed to go to school at a point. Latinos weren't allowed to go to school at a point. We're able to do it now. And if you're not careful, and if we don't get an education, and we don't start getting in positions where we can keep that happening, that might change. Okay? So take advantage of this opportunity while it exists. Australians weren't allowed to go to school at a point, you know? Isn't that true? Wasn't that true in Australia? Was everybody allowed to go to school? Huh? You don't know your history? I know your history better than you do. Look it up. Look it up. Okay. So the point is, you have an opportunity. You guys have an opportunity to do well in this class. It's not a hard class, and you can do well. I give you everything that you need to survive and more, right? And anything that you can't get, you can ask somebody. That's what we're here for. Okay? So let's talk a little bit about balancing chemical equations. Okay. Everybody got this down? Everybody got it up? Everybody else worked it?
Yeah.
Good. Oh,
So
okay.
solution is just
Make it hard for me.
the new equation.
I'll actually, I have to remember to add you to the.
This thing.
I'll
This is
adjust
the
it.
solution.
Now it's balanced.
Balance.
Yeah, the balance.
I was
You will put it?
take a picture. Upload it to your comments.
What is this called?
Oh, it
Quiz
is.
two.
Quiz two.
Oh, I just need to quiz.
The focus is
The rules of the class. Rules of. Bro.
Yeah, it's
I need to put my name.
I told her,
I need to put my name.
okay, we got someone.
like you said tomorrow, so I don't have
Yes, go ahead and ask me.
the homework says it's due tonight, but you're saying it's due tomorrow. Which one is it?
It's due tomorrow. It just hasn't resynced. I'll resync it for you.
Thank you. Also, does the trial expire tomorrow?
It expires tomorrow. Today's the 29th,
I
right?
thought it was 31st.
Tomorrow's 30th.
Tomorrow's 30th.
Oh.
It expires on Wednesday.
Okay, well, it expires on Wednesday. Whenever it expires, it expires.
What expires?
Huh?
Active, you have to buy it.
Oh, what?
Okay.
No. Got it? You sure?
Okay.
We'll just,
Yeah.
This, I'm not 27, I'm 19. Like, when you write about us, go to school, everything is the same. I remember on July, no, August 27th, 2017.
No, it's very specific.
Yeah,
What happened August?
I don't know.
Okay, try it now.
I started working at the prison.
I remember
Okay.
it was in March.
I had eaten all day. I was starving.
Remember March 2020?
Keep your mind-
Thank you,
don't let it get
Appreciate it. I think.
Okay, so let's see.
I'm stupid. I gotta lose some money. I do walk around, but it's not enough. So.
You should go to the gym.
No, because then I gotta roll into. We changed that during 2020. We changed that 2020.
No shit ideas.
Yeah, that's true. Gonna have to pay. I don't have a stable source of income. Also, I asked like, teachers that were, I was working in the school, I didn't notice, I saw them outside the building, and I asked them, so they're both students, they're not in the gym, and so
So I should play Dollar General. They're always hiring.
Probably meant enrolled in like a campus in general.
yeah, you know, maybe. I'll ask them. Yeah. Interesting when a coach is just like the baddest dude. It's true. I'm the school teacher. He was eating like 5 biscuits. Biscuits and sausage.
What is this? Which one are you doing? The one left or the one on the right?
What's my brain?
The green one.
I have to remember which guy.
No, that was the example from the last. The one on the left.
Balance.
Is this another thing? Okay. Metal slides.
Sorry, it was oxygen. I'll try it one more time. Okay.
My dumbass fell off of it.
Okay, so the first thing that I want to do is to do what?
It's a fun.
Okay. Yeah, okay, so tell me how many hydrogens are in the reactor?
2.
You guys close with Canadians?
Okay, and then on the other side?
3.
Alaska? I mean, it's right there. It's next to it.
Very, like,
Hey, is it balanced?
No.
What do I need to do to balance it?
they can.
So 4 over here, that gives me 12. 4,
It's not as good as
10. 16. Let's do so 18. Six. Good. So that's 12. 4. That's 6. Read from the widow. Other side?
There's two more options.
So that's. How the fuck is that? 12?
Can't put
Or-
it in front of the-
Wait,
one for the H3,
So,
one for the
18.
Y.
so we just guess random numbers for the start?
18.
Try to balance it out.
So no, but like, 4.
18.
What times one multiplies? No,
Okay.
what times one
So-
multiplies by 3 to get 12?
But it wasn't. a 12.
Try to get people.
So.
Okay, so that is my 2 oxygens. I needed an H. Yeah, it does. That's a lot of- So, let's see. Well. Well, let me give you another
What time
problem.
is this? What time is that?
What did we close?
That one is,
That was
yeah,
just extreme.
yeah. Let's go simple. We'll go there.
I would say somebody else.
But he is recording it and he's gonna upload it on the YouTube channel.
I checked the channel. But I checked the channel, all there is just a. That's all there is.
Maybe he'll upload it by the end of the year. This is last year. though.
I went to the, and I was like, like, yes.
That's what it said. Joe. I haven't bought a pencil for the past like 3 years. I've just been buying these pencils. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
But it's like, it lasts for so long. It's true.
Okay, how many how many nitrogens? How many? I'm sorry, how many sodium? How many oxygens?
What? So the Na is one thing in itself.
Yes, Na is one thing in itself.
Okay.
It's sodium. Okay, on the other side, how many hydrogens?
One.
How many sodiums?
One.
How many oxygens?
Three.
Okay, is it balanced?
No.
Okay, what do we need to do to balance that? Okay.
Why are you writing a 2 there?
Okay, let's see why. So then that will give me my 2 hydrogens, that will give me. That will give me 2 sodiums, and then that would give me 4 oxygens.
Now he's multiplying that two by everything on this side.
And since oxygen already has a two, you multiply two times.
Got the two here?
For oxygen.
Okay.
So 2 times 1, that's 2. 2 plus 2 is 4.
Oh, yeah, my bad.
How about four oxygens on the inside?
What does he have?
How do you get that? Because it's 2 times. Oh, was already 1 times 1.
Oh, wait.
Negative
Or is it
4H.
all-
Okay, so then that is over here, right? So
just
then
2/3?
it begins.
Right.
I know this is.
What he's saying. See what he is doing. That's 2 times what? Now it's slowly starting to click that it's 2 times something like this.
And then he writes over it.
But then, yep, that's. Yeah, what the hell? ADHD and I'm a visual person, I need to see.
Okay, let
That's
me.
anyway, two. At the same time, it's like-
Just like a bunch of
So. No. It's,
To those smart boards.
it is solved.
I don't think that's one.
Okay, so. Let you think about it. Okay, I'll let you think about it. I already know, so. Okay. Let's do this. This is the wrong gas. That would work. Yeah.
So you changed the whole thing?
I've been horrible with that. Twice. Yeah. This is what happens when you get up at 4 o'clock. Okay, so then that changes everything. So let's just start fresh. We're gonna do work.
Yeah, a good one.
Okay, so this is the one. This is the one. Third time's the charm, right?
First of all,
So am I.
identify.
It's just a reminder that it's the gas. Right now, it's not.
I shouldn't even throw it up. No, I'm just.
It does when you're,
Too soft.
when you start to move it more into these equations, right? It does.
Too soft.
Okay. How many sodiums? How many hydrogen?
Pretty challenging.
Or I would just be too tired. Just talking about
How many
it as
oxygens?
best as I
Okay. Okay.
can. It's one. The math's kind of.
React inside to what? Okay, so then that gives me 4 and. Here? Okay, so then that's 2. Right, what? Two arrows. That would be 4.
The teacher will just have like a sort of.
Here we get it.
If you just cheat and it's like.
Okay, is it
He
balanced?
goes with Grizzlies. Plays.
Mr. Henry, can you come here,
Yes, ma'am.
please?
Yes. You got a question?
I'm a very visual person, so I have no idea how this happened. I know you got a 2, I don't know where it's from. I don't know how you got those numbers on the side. Are you like multiplying the 2 by the
Okay.
numbers across the whole row?
No.
Like, I'm very
Let me
confused.
help you out.
The-
We have this side, the reactive side, right?
Yeah, I
So
got
the
that.
numbers on this side are reflecting the reactive side.
Okay.
The numbers on this side are reflecting the product side.
Okay.
Okay, this is just so I don't have to write it on both sides.
Okay.
Okay, so sodium, 2 in front of.
Why did you put a 2 there?
Why do I put a 2 there? Because we want it to balance out with the other side. So let's start off.
So you're just guessing on what number will fit?
It's kind of like, it's an educated guess, right?
Okay.
Because initially we're starting off with. And
And then it gets reduced.
if you have questions, stop me early.
Okay.
Because I'll just go, right? And I'm glad you stopped. But if you stuck at the beginning, don't wait till the end to tell me you're stuck at the beginning, okay? In the future. Okay, so sodium. We have, right now, what do we have? Well, what do we have? How many of them do we have?
1,
One, right? Hydrogens, what do we have?
2,
2. And then oxygen,
1,
okay? So then on the other side,
1, 3, and 1.
and, okay, so we know that the sodiums look okay right now, right?
Okay.
But the hydrogens aren't, right? And the oxygens, they look okay right now. So that means that we have to start with changing the hydrogen. So what can I multiply so that I can have the same number on this side and I can have the same number on that side? What can I multiply this by so that I can get the same number on both sides? This is a 2 and this is a 3. So what
Would
number?
you have to multiply each one by that number?
No, you multiply one side by one number, and you
So-
multiply the other side by another.
So like 2 times 3 and 3 times 2?
That's right. So then we put 3 here,
Okay.
okay? And then you said, so that would give me 6. So 3 times 2.
Put a 2 there before.
There's 2 there before.
You changed. Okay.
Hold on. Wait, hold on. Okay. Okay, so you're right, no. Okay, so we have 3 total, right? So we have this one and this one, and then we have this. Okay, so let me take another look. Okay, so we want to try to get these both on the same level, right? Same side on both sides. So if I put a 2 here, that would give me my second hydrogen, right? That would give me that even number.
Oh,
Okay, so then that would give me a total of 4.
so ignore the other thing. Just put a 2?
And then over here, because we only have this as our source, right? So then we'd have to put a 2 in front of it. 1. So then that means that we have a 2 here, and we have 2 here. And then we need, since this has 2, we have to have a 2 here. Yeah, it's because I screwed up again. I want to roll today. Today is my day. So the best way of looking at it is, so it is a guess to start out, right? So particularly on this one. Since we know that this has to be a multiple, like we know we have 2 here. We know that we can multiply this to get an even number, right? So if we multiplied it by 2, it will give us an even number. So
I understand. I understand the terminology.
no, it doesn't matter which side you start on. At the end of it, the goal again is we want to end up with balance on both sides, right? Okay. So yeah, starting with the 3. I screwed up. So that was a screw up, right? Okay, but there was a 3 here initially, right, on this side. But we know that this guy is, we have 2 here, right? We're always gonna have 2. We're gonna end up with an odd number if this is an odd number. So we know that we need an even number because this guy is a multiple of 2. Right, so regardless of what this is, it's a multiple of 2, we need an even number for the number of hydrogens. Right, so if I put 3 in front of it, it would have been a multiple of 2, but it would have gave us the wrong number. We ended up with- Okay, so that was again my bad. I'm on 3 per hour right now. Okay, so let me give you guys one more problem, and then we're gonna take a break so that I can get some water and get a little bit of fresh air. And then we'll come back and get this done right. But let me give you one that it's a little challenging, but not too bad.
Oh, that's like. That's a good number.
Okay. So where are my elements? Okay. So how many aluminums do I have on my reactant side? How many oxygens do I have on my? 3 times 2 plus 3. Okay. How many magnesium do I have? What's next? Okay. How many nitrogens do I have?
1, 2.
Okay, so it's in parentheses. So since it's in parentheses, it's 2. Okay, on the other side, how many nitrogens do I have?
3.
How many magnesiums? How many oxygens?
7. 10. 4.
And how many aluminum? Okay,
3 plus the 1.
so is it balanced?
No.
Okay, so what do I need to do to balance it? Add 2 third products.
Because it's one.
Okay, so we have 2 here.
And OS nitrogen.
Okay, so does it change?
No.
It does, because it's the whole compound.
Yes.
It's gonna change the whole thing.
So then we would have.
That's the
So
one.
we have 2. So that'd be
And it's just
2
one.
times 3. Okay. And then oxygens,
You guys arrows where you're like multiplying 2, 3.
Oh, but like, that looks
So
like-
9 times.
2. 2 times 3, right? Because it's all 1, right?
Oh, no.
And how many oxygens? 19. So we have, okay, so we have 3 times 3, which is 9, times 2, which is 18 plus 1. Okay. Okay, why are we adding a 3 in front of magnesium? Okay, so if I put a 3 in front of magnesium, I now have 6 for nitrogen, I now have 3 magnesiums. How many oxygens do I have? 3 times 3 times 2 plus 3. Okay, and then on the other side. Right? 18 plus 3. Okay, so I need to do what next?
Add 3 in front of
Add 3 in front of magnesium. That's 3. So that's 18 plus 3. 21. 21. I got you that one. I'm on a roll now. So you're on fire. Okay, you said I'm lost. You were thinking it? Okay, so that's all right. So let's take a step back, right? So we started off with 2 and 1 aluminum. First thing that we wanted to do was get 2 aluminum, right? And then how do we get 2 aluminum? Put a 2 in front of it, right? As soon as we put a 2 in front of there, it's going to change everything else. It's going to change the number of nitrogens and the oxygens that we have. Okay, so do me a favor. How many of you guys ever kept your books? Budget. Do you guys do a budget? Okay, this is how much money I make. This is how much money I can spend, right?
Oh, yeah.
And you go through and you figure out how much you're spending, right? So what I want you guys to do is I want you to put, right? We have the number of nitrogens, and you can put them on both sides. Nitrogens on both sides, right? And just put the nitrogens, okay? This is another way of doing it. And then do the same thing with the oxygens. We have the oxygens and the oxygens, right? So this here is going to represent our reactant side. We're going to put R, and we're going to put P for product, right? So each time you go through, you want to keep track of it. So you're at the very end and everything's balanced out. So that's what we're doing here this way as well, too. Okay. So if we put a 2 here, how many nitrogens do I have? I have more than 2, right? Because remember, it's in parentheses. When it's in parentheses, we're multiplying everything by. So we have a total of 6. Right? Okay, so we ended up with 3 of them times 2. Right? If you want to, just multiply that one by this, and then multiply by that. Right? Okay, so then that gives me my 6 nitrogen. Right? So adding up with 6 and 6. Okay, so that looks good right now. Now, over here we have our oxygens, right? So let's figure out how many oxygens we have. Now this is before we added that. So we have 3 times 3 is what? 9 times 2. 18. So initially we only had that 1, right? So we only have that 1. 18 plus 1 is 19. So initially we only had that 19, right? And then over here we know we started out with 9, right? So you definitely need to change something, right? Because 9 and 19 are not the same. Okay. So then after we come over here, right? We take a look at those nitrogen that we looked at. Initially we had 2. So we put a 3 in front of here. 2 times 1 times 3 is going to give you that 6. So I would have that balanced. Okay. Okay, so then that changes my number of oxygens. That changes my number of oxygens to 3. I mean 2 times 3 times 9. So 2 times 3 is 6, right? Times 9.
So you stand first and you right over the
6 times 9, 18, right? 18. Then we add plus another 3. It's 21. So that's how we got that 21.
And then for the.
Okay. Okay. So it's just bookkeeping. And then when you're tired, you screw up on bookkeeping, right? Or you screw up on the equation, you screw up on the bookkeeping. Okay, so let's take a 10-minute break.
There's different colors. No.
Actually,
That's exactly what the fuck I was just thinking.
Yeah.
Exactly.
when we come back, we'll
With the
talk about
beginning one, base color, as he adds on, new color, yes. Yes. Fuck, it would be better to do this on a Word document. Just highlight the
It
color.
would be kind of hard to do that way because I don't know how to lower the exponent.
It's just letters and numbers, you know? And then it's
I know,
like,
but.
then you put tab, you press tab for. Middle. Yeah, that's like, you should have color coded the steps.
Do you want me to color code these steps?
I mean, it's like to indicate like, okay, after you got the 18, well, now we're gonna add a 3. But like, if you look back on the notes, it's just like, well, it's all there, not the steps. Oh, it's-
10 minutes. So you want to know how to superscript and subscript? Superscript means up, subscript is below.
No, I don't really care about doing it on computer. I just want to go do it on paper.
I like it.
Okay.
I'm just getting confused from the steps. It's like bouncing all over the place and it's confusing.
Okay, so first thing that you want to do is write it down.
They don't get it. And then they keep answering. I can't hear what they're saying. So I don't know.
Okay, go ahead and write it down.
Also, whenever I record with
Does
the
it matter
smart
what
pen,
order
it
I
doesn't
write them
actually
in?
touch the audio.
Just as long as they're all there.
Also, Dr. Henry, whenever I record with smart pen, it just sounds terrible
Okay,
because my voice is so far away.
okay.
That's it, right?
So,
It's two ones separate, right?
Yeah, that, so no, you don't want to write it separate. So we're talking about nitrogen and oxygen. Yeah. these are both chemicals. Okay. So how many aluminum do you have?
Two.
Okay, so that's two here. Okay, then how many aluminum do you have over here?
One,
That's right. Okay, how many oxygens do you have for here?
this right here,
Just that one right there.
3.
Okay, and then how many oxygens do you have over here?
6.
That's right, so 3.
To go together.
That's right, so 6 plus 3. How many magnesiums do you have over here?
1.
Okay. And then how many nitrogens do you have over here? Okay. So now over here, how many oxygens?
Oh,
Plus,
plus.
right, there's 9 there.
So 10.
Okay. How many magnesiums?
Plus 1.
Okay. Mhm.
3. Now this is usually as far as I get.
Okay, now we got there, right? So what can I put in front of the aluminum on the other side so that there will be 2? Okay, so put 2 in front.
all right, I got this.
Okay. So then that gives me, cross that out now, because how many do I have? How many aluminums?
2.
Okay. Okay, now how many nitrogens do I have?
Oh, what's that?
Because this whole thing changes, right? Since there's a 2 in front.
2.
There's a number outside the
Oh,
parentheses.
so 6.
Okay,
right?
That's right. Yep, that's right. So it's 3. That's right.
Right here. Wait.
No, nitrogen. Okay, now look at the oxygen. So I have 3 times 3
9,
times 2.
18.
18 plus,
1.
okay,
19.
okay,
What's that for? Oxygen?
for the oxygen. You're like, what's that for? You got it.
I got confused. I was like, wait.
Okay, so now that gives me 6. So if I come over here, can I make this somehow? What can I multiply this by so that the nitrogen here is 6? Right now I have 2.
2 times 3.
Okay. Put 3 in front there. So then cross that out. 6. Okay, then how many magnesiums do I have now?
3.
Okay. Then how many oxygens do I have? Two times 3 is what? 6 times 3.
You have to multiply by this now?
2 times 3 times another 3.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Plus 3. What is that? Okay. And then so that gives me 21.
No, so-
We're not, yeah, it's all right. So what do I need to put in front of the magnesium so that I have 3 over here and 3 over here on this side?
Right.
Okay. So put it here. I'll put a 3 up here. Okay. So then we have 2 for oxygen, 2 times 3 times 3.
6, 18.
Okay, plus 8 times 1.
Why didn't we go get snacks?
Okay, wait, go back to this part again. It was 2 times 3.
Times 3. So that equals 18.
18.
Plus 3 times 1. Okay. So cross that out. Sorry, is it balanced?
Just take his chair.
He doesn't need it.
Oh, yeah, hold on, I was gonna say it now.
Okay.
How I read it a lot again. Put them like how it says.
You write it out, so without all your circles in it. So you just write, understood there's 1 here, right? There's you understood there's 1 here. It's understood that there's 3 there, and it's understood that there's 2 there. So you don't have to put all of this. Yeah. So this is 1 together, right? So you just write it out. There you go. Put your 2.
Because I feel like confusing me. You said put a 2 right here and on the
Put
outside.
a 2, a lower 2, because it's a compound. This is aluminum oxide.
And the 3.
Yep. Plus. Right, and then you have 3 in front of it. And then
This is a
empty
expired.
you know, 3.
That's
Both
wow.
branches. 2 yield.
You know how to get there, right?
Don't you say that when Canvas sends you a tutor notification 500 times, they send you a tutor notification 10 times? Yes, the tutor is there. It tells you 20 times, the tutor is there.
It's like, I understand it a little bit more, but
Do
there's
you not have a
something-
Canvas?
I don't know what's in order.
Yeah, it's like
That's
the tutors,
You're welcome.
then you like
Try
send
it. The more you do it, the better.
notifications saying that.
Okay, so let me give you guys another 2, and then we'll have to move forward. So they said. Okay. You guys ready? Okay, so we're starting off with Joe. Okay, how many carbons? 5. How many hydrogens? 12. How many oxygens? 2. On the other side, how many? Okay, all right, Dave. Okay. Got a whole carbon. 1. How many hydrogens? 2. Okay, it's the balance. Okay, so we need to add a 5 in front of the carbon. Why are we adding a 5 in front of the carbon? And I'm assuming you're saying over. Okay, so then that would give me 5 carbons over here. And that matches up with the 5 carbons over here. How many oxygens? 10? 10? 11. Okay, is that balanced? Okay, so I'm gonna add 6 here. So that would be 12 hydrogens. So 16 oxygens. 8 here. So that gives you 16, 16, 16, 12, 12, 5, 5. You want to do a fraction?
You know, if I color pencils.
Well, like where, what was it, the very thing showed, but even then, that's just-
Ready?
so more simple.
Yeah, are you guys ready?
Yep.
Good, bad, ugly. Good, bad, or ugly?
It's a hot mess, but it's okay.
I mean, I understand it,
But can you do it?
yeah,
So there's one thing.
they're tired, but yeah.
Okay, I am too, but we've got to work through it, because this is the fundamentals of chemistry.
Just color code it though.
I'll color code it. Let me go grab some other markers. Okay, so this is your car. So gasoline is octane, right? Okay, so let's start off with, again, how many carbons? 8.
Two oxygens. Hydroxide, 2 hydrogens, 3 oxygens, and 1 carbon.
Okay. Is it balanced? What do I need to do to balance it? Okay, so
Add a
hold on. So I have 8 carbons, right? And I have 1 carbon over here. Right? And that's my only source of carbon. So it makes sense to start off with that carbon. So how can I make this so that there's 8? Sure.
Eight.
There we go. It has to be a what? Instead of 8. So we need to put an 8 here. That is correct. Because we're looking at the carbon, right? There's only one carbon. You guys told me this, right?
And then look at the front of the H.
Just
Maybe try
only
nine.
this.
Can we find 9?
Yeah.
Do the math first for the.
That's gonna be 8.
Then now how many?
Wait, no, I'm at 17, 17, 17.
This is gonna come up, like, this is-
What do you mean by you missed this?
Yeah, 'cause then it's like, oh, sure.
Yeah, that's right. So 8 times O2 is what? 16. Plus 1. Okay. So we have 17.
And then added 9 for the
I'm just like.
the chart set.
Okay, so we need to add a 9. So you guys over there, do you guys see it, right? Are you guys with?
That 1 plus 16 times 0, what is that?
That's an O.
Oh.
For oxygen. So 8 times 2, right? So now you guys can't see. So we'll say 8 times 2. Okay, that's gonna be 16. Plus this one, right? That's gonna be the O's. I see the problem there, right? You guys can only see so much as the screen is right here. So. Okay, so on the other side, or you're saying on this side,
But I said 9.
okay, so we put a 9 here. So that means 9 times 2.
18 for hydrogen.
Okay, so that gives me my 18.
And then it's going to change the oxygen on that side to 9. So 9 plus.
So let's slow down just a second. Okay, so we have, okay, so now we have a total of 9 oxygens. So we have 9 plus 16. Now we have 25 oxygens.
And now
What was that?
we're gonna put 25 over 2 on oxygen side for reactant.
Okay, so
So you go 9 oxygen, right?
yeah,
Would you add the
25
other 20?
over 2.
Yeah.
Okay, so
It's nice.
8 times 2.
okay. Yeah. Got it?
Yeah. And then we're gonna rate it, and then it's gonna.
So we want to end up with 25 oxygen, so with 25 over 2, we end up with 25, right? Okay, so okay. Got it? Okay, good, I can tell. Anybody else? Got it? Yes.
Better.
Oh, I
Got
got
it?
it. Yeah.
Okay, what about you guys over? And don't just nod, because again, we want to make sure you guys got it, okay?
So 25 over 2, the 2 cancel each other.
That's right. So 25 divided by 2 times 2, it's always going to be the numerator. Okay,
But don't erase it.
okay, I want to erase it. Okay, so you guys want to try one more for the road? Not for the road. but- We'll get it.
Today, or like what?
I'll be, and you can also do the homework. You do your homework assignments. You'll have
Goes to the practice test.
the final answer. So the question that she asked, she said, the what I wrote in purple, is that the final answer? And what's written in purple is how it should be written by you guys. Right? You can show me the steps, but at the end of the day, this is the final answer. Okay? You guys got that?
Wait, what was this for again? Like the actual answer itself,
What do you mean by what?
what is it used for?
It's fire or something? Did you say it was, what was it?
This is a combustion reaction, but that's the chemical equation, but I don't think that's drastic. You're asking me what procedure this is that we're doing right now.
No, it's like, what use, like,
He's asking why couldn't we just name this 25 out of 2?
no.
The reason why you can't leave it over 25 over 2 is why? So I've answered that before. What was that?
Oh, it's like, my question is, where would this come from? Why would we, where would it be used?
Your car. So your chemical, your car does this. This is octane. Octane is the gas that you guys use in your car, right? It burns oxygen. And then as a result of it, out of the tailpipe, you get that water that's coming out and you get carbon dioxide. So your car does this.
So, okay, it's the base and then what ends, so it's the product.
It's the reactant and the products. Okay, so everything that happens, everything that you guys do is a chemical reaction, in most cases, or a physical reaction, one or the other, right? Everything you eat, chemical reaction. We could make a chemical reaction. Most chemical reactions are composed of 2 major components. Sometimes you'll have things that'll be like 6 or 12, but for the most part, they can be broken down into like 2 major things. Okay? Real simple. Okay. One more for the road.
Initially, I thought, the law of numbers, must mean there's more to it.
Let's see.
I don't want to think that into it. I just want to.
It's really just. There's one right here. Again, now it's sure anything about it. That's like 3 years. So, we show you the footage. Mario. Mario.
Actually,
You're supposed to be coming out.
The end would be
Originally,
2. And the other would be 6.
Chris, that is my-
I hope.
It's like everyone's like, show me anything about it. No, that's a really recent. This is really nice. Is what they said.
So anytime you see something in parentheses, right? So I'm saying info 3, right? So this tells me I have 3 copies of this, right? Of that, everything that's in parentheses. Really, this is what that equals. So this equals the same thing as saying. Okay, that's the exact same thing. This equals this, right? But it's too much room to write this all out. Okay, so then in this case, how many nitrogens do I have? Okay. 2 in front of the NA. So she says, put 2 in front of the NA on the bottom side. Yes. So just, I'm just going to take one step back. Why did you choose to go in front of the NA? So why did you choose the sodium instead of the chlorine, right? So chlorine, you know, the two over here. So would it make sense to start off with the chlorine? So that's where you were getting that chlorine from, right? Okay, so since we knew that there was 2, so that's that whole concept of starting off with what we were starting off with. Not to say your answer is wrong, we're getting to the same answer. It's just different ways of getting there, right? Okay, so then there were 2 over here, and we had 1 over here. We had 2 over here, and we had 6. We know that the calcium was exactly the same on both sides. Calcium is the same on both sides. Just see that, right? Then we have 6 oxygens, 3 oxygens, 2 nitrogens, 1 nitrogen. We have 2 chlorine. So if we put a 2 in front of here, now we have 2 chlorines. So then that means that we need 2 sodiums. Right? So then that gives me my 2 sodiums. That also means that now we have nitrogens. Oxygens. Now it's balanced. So, again, who's had chemistry before? Okay. And so who's not had chemistry? Who was supposed to have study that? Who was supposed to have chemistry and just kind of stepped through the most of it? Right? Yeah, like the honest. Okay.
Me too. It was an
You get students.
For some reason, during the pandemic, they were like, just keep redoing the quizzes. Just
Okay.
keep redoing the assignments until you get it right.
So you guys are ready to move forward, right?
Yes, we're building it. Yeah. But obviously, I didn't learn. This is America.
Oh, when we're.
Yeah. Thankfully it's in US education. Well, the education system is not that great, you know.
Yes, because more they said it's more than 30. It's my birthday. Like, happy birthday on the cake. Just like that.
When you sit when you're just like slapping your face and it's the kid, and it's like you're like 18.
Okay, scientific notation. So as scientists, we often get very lazy.
I'm lazy. Resourceful.
Okay, resourceful. I like that. We often get very resourceful. So one of the ways that we want to write things is through scientific notation because it's a lot less writing.
That's not in the packet.
You guys don't have chapter 3?
You didn't give us that packet yet. You gave us a packet, but it was.
Chapter 2.
No, I gave you guys chapter 3
You
too.
gave us lab 3, but then you gave us chapter 4.
Okay, no, I gave everybody chapter 3, but they probably got.
You do?
Okay.
I don't have it.
Okay, so you have it. Who doesn't have it?
Wait, I don't have it.
I think when they pass out, it's very clear to them.
Okay, let me go grab you guys.
I think they did run out when they were passing.
So you got two.
Chapter 2.
Okay, raise your hand if you don't have a chapter 3. Okay, after class.
Do they print in here? Do they print somewhere else?
They print in my, no, next to my office.
Where's that? The
All
car?
the way over there on the other side. On like where
Never mind.
it's literally
I
like
was gonna say, I will get it, but.
it's the last one. It's the last building. It's just the hallway.
Oh, you know, it's actually.
Yeah. Yeah. So I just think we show.
If you don't remember, like, like 6th grade, when we were in the class, someone was standing by the door, like, at the little window. To watch the teacher come and then mess around, like, we did.
Angel Rodriguez.
Kids, we go back and look at it.
What? Do you know Angel Rodriguez? No. He was an asshole. But like also, no, then it's not him.
It's not.
Because like he has a little brother named Junior.
That's why they.
Really? No, he was an asshole.
No, that's Angel Rodriguez.
Wait, because he lives in the. Yeah, he was an asshole.
Why?
Well, he was an asshole.
Why was he mean to you?
Well, I mean, it was like, apparently he was nice, apparently, but it's like, I haven't seen him. I think I did, but I got mad at him a lot. No, he was annoying, right? He was annoying.
Why was he on the way?
I mean, it's like, like like him, just like annoying, bothering. Well, no, like, they were the same.
You said it.
But like, I looked Asian, so yeah.
I see you kind of the other one.
Well, that or it was like the Jackie Chan. It was like I did karate.
He's like, can I walk across the street, sir?
I guess I can help you grab something.
But like at the time, I was like really aggressive. So I actually just like, I grabbed his neck, and just, like, put him down.
Wait, okay.
It was like 6th or 7th grade. Well, I mean, like,
Put him down like a dog?
no, I pushed him. No, I grabbed his neck.
Yeah, just don't do that now. You're an adult. You get adult time.
Jesus, the whole desk shit, my God.
So like it was on the concrete. It was like different. And then like then I kind of just mellowed out. And now I'm like really tired. Like all the rage.
That's not good. That's different. No, that's not good.
Well, because like
So you're passing this one?
I can see you getting mad. I can see you getting mad.
yeah, I mean for the most
You got
part.
mad last week. So
You were bad last week.
But that's become like it's like my like yeah. My normal state is probably like that. But it's like I can't.
that day you didn't take your meds, that's why.
But also like I also, no because then they complicate things.
Were you telling me or were you telling me? Were you telling me?
No, yeah, I was telling the computer.
I was like, hey, keep it doing that.
Because like, I get it's an inanimate object, but I still get pissed off.
Like, Harry was moving. Harry was moving on.
I mean, it's an object.
I tried to switch off my computer, like, oh,
But like,
Was that what you're supposed to do?
no, this is mine. But it's like I try and be passive, and then
I'm nice until you piss me off.
kind of, yeah. I mean, one time it's like this
I will
whole
call you
thing,
anything.
like this whole thing is dumb. This whole thing, the art teacher, she is so like she is like standard. She is standard. No, in college, right here, she has a night class at the same time.
Don't take that.
But the issue, I don't know. It's like I don't know. I'm not sure if she was me entirely, but I know she got a divorce. So, you know, do with that what you want.
We should do 15, maybe we should do some fun.
No idea.
Okay, she's a
That's how he said.
Wait, last Wednesday when you were raging, I had a little thing like Sam's fucking check or something. Like, you guys take the questions together?
Please don't start fighting.
I mean, it's like I'm not sure. I mean, I'm not.
He puts his own machine.
Yeah, it's like some like bad.
Yeah, I can tell that upset, just walk out of the classroom. No, don't
Yeah,
ever.
that's what a responsible person should do.
Especially when you work by.
Like if it's like we're all adults now, so what this means is that we're all adults.
We.
Or I.
There's cameras in here. Fool.
It's called self-defense. It's like this. It's called self-defense.
No, but then that doesn't.
For sure, officer side.
Because then you get blamed for it somehow, even when there's cameras, because the other person. Yeah. But yeah, Angel is
Angel, he's from here.
yeah.
Rodriguez.
It was also like
What's his last name?
no. His name was, I think Angel.
Wait, Angel Bazooka?
Yeah.
I know what that is. I didn't even know what that is. I know his brother.
Stand by. He's an asshole.
I had Bazooka.
Yay, do you have them?
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's, the one time I kind of just got so mad like,
Okay,
lunch,
so
I
we're
just
talking about
squeezed
scientific
milk
notation.
on his computer.
We're talking about scientific
And his computer was
notation.
fine. So,
We're talking, Gabriel. Scientific notation. Okay, so when you do scientific notation, you want to have a single digit, and then you can have decimal, and you want to have numbers smaller, or you can't have numbers smaller. And then you want the exponent. Okay, so let me give you an example. Let's say we have this number.
Everybody get one. Cool. All right, good.
Okay, so we have that number there. So I want you guys to write it in scientific notation. Okay,
Wait. 0. How many zeros is right there?
can see those zeros?
Yeah, can you tell me how many zeros are there?
Yeah.
And then there's 2, 3, 4, 4.
That's okay. I got it. When I did, I got it. I can't see. I really good.
1, 2,
5.
Does that help?
No, how many zeros are there? What is this supposed to be?
12 zeros?
Oh. You're a hero.
Well,
Thank you, bro.
okay.
Oh.
Yeah, double count for me. Is it 12? Okay, cool.
She just wanted to be sure, right?
I will be out of here.
Okay, so how many zeros was it?
12
12.
on the right side.
Okay, so then if we're writing this,
Okay, so that number, that's not in notation or it is in notation?
4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so we would write this number as 2.344 times 10 to the negative 13.
Explain why it's negative, please.
Okay, it's negative because the number is smaller
Because it's 13 times to the
than
right.
1, right? And so, and it took us 13 spots, 13 ways to go from this decimal,
Yeah, from the decimal
to that whole number. Whole non-zero number, okay?
So the 2.34 times 10 thing, that's written in notation?
That is scientific notation,
Okay.
right? So, look at the format. We have a single number, a decimal, and then the numbers that will follow it times 10 to the exponent. That E represents the exponent. Now, how many of you guys have your phone with you? How many of you guys have your iPhone? Pull out your iPhone. Get them out anyway early, right? Everybody got them out? Go get the calculator.
Yeah, I'm trying to put my laptop on, I put the calculator.
Okay, so if you turn to the side, and if it's not locked. Okay, turn to the side. Okay. So if you typed in 2.344, this here, circle it. That times 10 to the whatever power, right? We're going to represent that as EE. So on your calculator, you're going to see a button that says EE.
Big EE.
Or you're going to see, if you use your calculator, it's going to say EXP. That also stands for exponential. And sometimes you'll just see 10 to the X. Okay. So then you're going to type in, everybody type in that number?
2.344.
Yeah.
That's high. No, wait. That's not high. Nice.
Okay, press that EE. There's going to be a button that says plus minus. Say a plus and a minus. Sometimes on a calculator, you'll see minus.
That's after you put in that number, you hit EE.
Yeah. Yeah, so after you put the EE, then hit plus minus, so put a negative, right? plus minus. You see a plus minus, you see a plus minus? There's a button that says plus minus.
Oh, yeah, okay. It's next to the C.
Yep, it's next to the C.
Wait. What do we get there?
EE plus minus.
So you have a plus minus.
Now it's
there.
negative 0?
No, right? You got, not, that's E, that's different. You want EE.
13?
Oh, actually, yours is.
I think it's 0.
you don't have it.
2, 3,
Oh, you got that?
4,
You did it right. I did it wrong.
percent.
You did it wrong. You did it right.
Where do you get that from?
You just haven't stared.
So, okay.
Okay, yes.
I'm gonna go over there.
Yeah.
So then here, you're gonna use.
Very quick study.
I got negative 0.
2.34.
Or press your other. your shift
Did you do the plus or minus before the EE? So we're here. 2, 4, 4. Uh-huh. There you go.
button. I have to figure out where it's at.
Here.
Oh,
Okay. Okay, let's
that was
start
a little
over.
fast.
Get your start over. 2.344. Then what do you put? Oh, then you times it by 10,
So I think you're gonna do.
and then you hit E.
And then you put
Okay.
13.
Well, I did 10, E, E,
I'll
and then the
have to look
plus
it up.
minus.
I don't know.
Okay, thank you.
What app are you using?
Oh, that helps.
What phone?
Yeah, I was like,
Android.
in Spanish, I was like,
Okay.
oh,
I have to look it up.
Samsung S20, 5G, 5G.
Okay,
What?
so look to see, do a search for export. On, yeah.
Oh.
Okay, so did everybody get that? Did you enter it?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so when you entered it, did you guys get the number that we typed except for 1 4 short?
yeah.
If you hit enter, okay, so if you turned it
So that's right.
like this, then you should see it.
Oh,
That's E.
Then EE. No, not times
4
EE.
times 10, you said? Then you hit E.
Then plus minus.
Times.
And then type it.
Oh, yeah, times it.
Wait, 2.34
Times
times EE. 10, 10
plus or minus.
plus or minus.
Plus minus. Actually, this is-
Thank you.
What was that?
Necessarily.
so are you guys?
No, you don't need to plug in a ten.
Yeah.
The ten is represented by.
What app are you?
Yeah,
So-
but-
Calculator, you have this on the phone?
Yeah, I'm using the same one.
Because then you multiply.
Well, apparently, I guess it's different.
They come the same.
Is it?
If you entered the.
I mean, it's
Is that
like,
the EE? What is
not
that?
even, not the one, not even the one. above it.
What?
I mean,
If you enter.
one, there's like two of them.
First time I answered.
That's the smallest one.
And then you end up with 12, right?
I'm trying to see if I can.
There's a way you can expand the calculator.
Yes, is that the same number?
So hit the home button.
Okay, because then in that case, you're multiplying it by 10 in addition to. Okay, so everybody's familiar with it. You see how to do that, right?
No,
Yeah, I wrote the steps down.
I know you don't.
so what about this one?
Right here. So here you're gonna use this.
Are we gonna need a calculator on any of our tests?
Sorry. So clear. So you 2 point, type in 2 point. 0.444 times, in this case, you can use times, and then put 10, and then
I was gonna go do the balance equation.
Minus 13 or something?
no,
I
because
forgot
see,
about
you have 2.44 times and then put the number again. So we want to change this so that it's not that.
I mean, it's like, you on the other.
So type in
I
your
don't like
number,
the ones
type
that
in
like have the.
negative plus or minus 13. No, put right here. Plus or minus. 1, 3. No. Because you already have the times. And then minus.
You know what I forget? I wanna get the screen protector that I'm looking at from my phone, you can't see.
Okay, let me type it in. So all you do is press. And then you do, and then you put in plus or minus 13.
Or we have the near ones.
So I understand the down
So
rabbit,
that
or
would
I
be.
understand the graphs, the balancing equations.
And this is
He doesn't-
Yeah, because we don't have, you don't have a sample for scientific. So if you change the mode to scientific, you'll be able to. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, you copy me.
Okay, so
Put it into.
if we have this number, can you guys convert these numbers to the scientific? Alright. So.
How come yours is blank? Our paper has notes on it. Yours doesn't.
Because I gave you guys the bits.
Oh.
How do you press the
So-
button?
Oh.
I like it. Okay, so the decimal point starts here, right? So we're gonna be moving over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 spaces. Right? So then our number is gonna be 3.672999 times 10 to the 6.
The 10 to the 6 or 10 to the.
To
Oh, wait,
the
okay, so
6.
to do it left, it's positive, and then if it goes that way, it's negative.
That's right. So, that's right. So if we're moving the arrow in this direction, it's gonna be a positive. If we're moving the decimal in this direction, it's gonna be positive. If we're moving in the other direction, it's gonna be a negative. Okay. So in this case, we have 1, 2, 3. Carried away. 3, yep. 1, 2, 3. So that's 4. 40. 6, 1. Times 10 to the minus. Okay. You guys are good? Okay, good. Ready to move forward? Three to the negative 3.
So I'll go to the right. Right.
Okay, so we're gonna convert scientific notation to our standard form, decimal form. So then, in this case, so then we're gonna move the decimal over 11 spots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Yeah, maybe that one. No, it's going, it's that one.
Okay, so we're converting 5.16 times 10 to the 4th to decimal form. So which way am I going to be moving the decimal in this case? To the left or to the right?
To the left. Hey, on the top one, did you go backwards? Wasn't it supposed to go to the right?
No, it's the negative, right? So anytime you have a negative number, that should be a really, really small number, right? So if your exponent is a negative number, it's going to be a tiny number. If your exponent is a positive number, it's typically a big number, it's more than 10, right? One, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so then that would be. Yeah, third grade handwriting, there was.
Mine on top.
So 51,600. Piece of cake, right? Not too bad. So we already talked about how to use it with the calculator. Right? So in your calculator, you're going to either have EE or EXP. So when you're using 10 to that power, you're going to be using that EE or that EXP.
Minus.
Okay. So if I told you you needed to be here in 5, right? Is that 5 hours? Is that 5 days? Is that 5 years? Is that 5 seconds? I just said be here in 5, right? Or we're gonna be to 5, right?
It needs 5 minutes to be.
Yeah, but Gabriel is 5 years, right? And then it's 5 milliseconds for her, right? So because we didn't say the unit. So when we're talking about quantity, quantity is going to consist of a value and a unit. Okay, so we always are going to need units to help us to know what we're talking about. Okay. Now, the quantity $50 minutes. If I want to convert that to seconds, how would I go about doing it?
Times it by 60.
Okay, I multiply it by 60, right? Because we know that how many minutes, how many seconds are in a minute?
60.
60. Okay. So 60 seconds equals 1 minute is my conversion, right? It's a conversion factor. So we can use a conversion factor to change from 1 unit to another unit. Okay, so the way I like to do this is by using this little chart. And you guys are gonna be able to use this chart, or you guys have been using this chart on your homework. So you guys can use the chart on your homework. Conversion charts. Oh yeah, you guys haven't done it yet. This homework that'll be coming up, that you guys will be starting tomorrow, right? So it's a drag and drop type of thing. Okay, now, how many of you guys have been in relationships and dumped the other person? Right? You have? Good. Okay, so you'll be my example.
Oh, no.
Okay.
Oh, no.
So, wait, let me ask you, I gotta go to the details, okay? I'm getting all your business. Okay. So did you dump him for somebody else? No. That's no fun. Anybody dump somebody for somebody else? You did?
I left my crack dealing ex for the
I like that. I left my crack dealing ex for the one that I had now. Okay. So, now, so if you think about doing conversions, it's kind of like leaving that crack dealing ex for the one that you have now, right? So minutes represents that crack dealing X. It's in minutes. You want to get rid of minutes. So if you want to get rid of minutes, is minutes going to be a priority to you? It's going to be important to you. You want to get rid of it, right? So we're always going to put the one that we want to get rid of on the bottom. Okay, so we put 1 minute at the bottom over here. And the new boy toy, that's seconds, right? That's the one we want. That's our priority. Right? So the one that we want is going to be on top. So then minutes cancels out. And we end up with 3,000 seconds. Okay. Now, we can play with this by converting from one unit to another unit to another unit to another unit to another unit. For instance, if I want to change a decade, what is a decade?
10 years.
10 years. I want to change a decade into seconds.
Oh, hell no, that's gonna take forever. So there's like 365 days a year, and you have to times that by 24.
Okay, so let's do it, right?
Mm.
So we have 1 decade.
Okay, so would it be easier to start from like the highest number or like start from the
So
bottom?
the decade is our given, right?
2012 was 10 years ago.
Okay. How many years are in a decade? Okay, so for every 1 decade, that's what we want to get rid of. So we put the 1 decade at the bottom.
So
I was born past the 2000s.
And we put 10 years on top.
no bueno.
We know that we put 1 year down here now, right? Because we want to convert from years to days. How many days are in a year?
65.
So 365.
366 every 4.
Okay, don't get too complicated.
It's gonna-
Decimate and it's increased by 10%.
And we have 1 day is equal to less is equal to how many hours? And 1 hour is equal to how many minutes? And how many minutes how many seconds are in a minute?
60.
Okay, so if you look at the numbers on the bottom, right?
Yes.
So let's go through the units. So a decade is going to cancel out a decade. So just a reminder, if I have X over X, what does that equal?
1.
Okay, if I have x squared over x squared, that equals.
1.
If I have 99 over 99, that equals.
If it's the
Okay.
same over the same.
So it cancels each other out, right? Okay, so we're able to cancel out the units. We know at the bottom, we have only ones. 1 times 1 times 1 times 1 times 1 times 1 times 1 is going to be what? 1. Okay, so we don't have to worry about that bottom. So then all we have to do is multiply the top. So you multiply the top. And if you guys can do me a favor, write in scientific notation.
And then 60 seconds. 60 seconds. And
The 3? No, the 3?
That's it.
No, the first one.
This one here, it's 5. That's it.
Also 3.
He's using a mouse.
That's an 8.
Wait, what?
it's 3.15.
What, 3.15?
3.1536 times 10.
Oh, 6, okay.
I'm talking about.
Exactly. The last one, 8? The last one, 8?
It's 3, yeah.
Ten. This thing.
And that's an estimate, right?
3.15. I feel like that's not right, because that's exactly. Times 10. Well, that now it's in scientific notation. So it's gonna cancel.
Really?
You guys are in a very tough situation. Like, why would somebody help? He has our numbers already.
Everybody got it? See what we're doing? It doesn't look like a beat. Put my third grade handwriting.
We're not making fun of it, questioning it.
Okay, so let's move forward.
They say smart people write a little messy,
Tonight, I'm definitely.
a little bit.
It has been a rough night.
I
Let me
appreciate
tell
your
you.
patience.
Okay, so we're going to the racetrack. We're gonna put down some money. Okay,
We
so
got money.
the oldest racetrack in the United States is the 8 furlong Pleasantation Fairground Racetrack in California. Pleasant.
Where is that, north or south?
Oh, it's north. Believe me, I've been there. Let me tell you.
Is it pretty?
What was that?
It's right next to my city.
Exactly. Have you been to the racetrack?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, he knows exactly where it is. He's like, yeah. How much money did you lose there? I'm curious. Yeah.
That's where did you win?
So, what is the length of the track in rods?
Goodbye and sell you.
Okay, so our equivalency here is
Betting.
0.025 furlong is equal to 1 rod. That's going to be our conversion, right? So what is my given?
Official.
So the way I like to start off, I always like to start off with what's given to me. What's given to me?
320 rounds.
That's my conversion,
Furlong?
right? So what's my given?
The furlong?
The 8 furlongs, right? So the 8 furlongs is my given. So I'm going to start off with 8 furlongs. It's a distance.
Furlong is a distance?
It's a distance.
Okay.
It's right here. That's not.
Okay, so we know that 0.25 furlongs is equal to 1 rod. So who's going to be on the bottom? Who are we getting rid of? The furlong. So we're going to put the furlong on the bottom. So we're going to put the 0.025 on the bottom. And what is it that we want?
Rods.
So we want rods. So we're going to put rods on top. Okay, what do you guys end up with?
320.
Okay. Questions? Easy?
Yeah.
So there's crazy.
I got lost.
Are you okay?
Oh, you don't have to flash, right? How did you get 320 rods?
Because numbers multiply across 8 times 1. And then we divide it by the number on the bottom.
Oh,
That line represents division.
But then the way division.
Yes.
Wait,
plus out.
Anytime you have a number over a number, that means division. So if I have 2 over 1, that means that 2 is being divided by
wait,
1.
wasn't, okay, so 1.95, so she's smaller there. And then 0.075, 25%.
So if I go 1 over that, then
Wait, so like,
put it in your calculator.
all right, I know we learned this. but-
Yes, you did. Put it in your calculator.
Furlong.
See a piece of this, like the little piece, will somebody let me know? I was like, or give it to no. No, I have it outside.
Okay, so you're missing your key? Yeah. So did you have when you went into the lab initially? And when was this? Okay. And then
I
what?
just don't know if anyone has.
Did you, yeah, did you go and check in one?
Wait, the exact same price?
class, yeah, but I think earlier. Travis, error.
Okay, yes, you guys have let outside. Okay, let's move forward. Okay, so equivalencies. Okay, so we've talked about conversion factors, right? We also have equivalencies. There you go.
This is not what I remember. Wait, no. I was just
Okay,
saying-
so equivalencies are when we say that two quantities are gonna be equal to each other, right? And they have the same similar properties. Okay, so I want you to write the equivalencies and the conversion factors are the following. So 1 day is 24 hours. So how many different ways can we say that 1 day is 24 hours? I can flip it. So I can say 24 hours is 1 day, but I can also write it as an equation. How can I write it as an equation? How about 24 hours over 1 day?
Can you do 1 day over 24 hours?
Then when they cross each other out or what?
Oh, in this case, they would, yeah. If we multiply them.
Oh, okay.
But we're not doing that. But the point is that we can flip them either way, right? So they're not obligated to go one way or the other. We can move them around to our convenience to satisfy what we need to satisfy. Okay? So how can I write my car averages 17 miles per hour? I mean, per gallon, not per hour. Okay. So 17 miles per 1 gallon. Or okay. Okay, so we've already gone through the process of doing it. Again, you always want to try to start off with the given, and then you're going to use your conversion factors to try to get you to where you want to be. You want to get rid of the units that you're starting with to the units that you want. So that's units that you want are going to be on time. Okay, let's see if you guys can do this. So calculate the number of weeks in 672 hours. Any volunteers? I'm tapped out, so I'm gonna let. Any volunteers? Well, come on up.
That was my bet.
I like that.
So they-
Yeah. I don't.
So there was a midget in middle school, threatened to kill his students.
The one that I'm trying to.
They do, they had,
Egg back.
yes. Yeah, teacher, he was one short. And was in charge of that. And he was also the board of the town.
Is that a 2 or a 7?
Yes, you gotta explain, and we can't see.
Come on, Judy, Haji, you can do it.
But yeah, then there's,
He's smart. He can figure it out.
I think I sent it to.
672 hours. Wait, no, yeah, another 24 days. And so there's 28 days, and 28 days, divided by 7 weeks, equals 4 weeks. Alright.
So he lives in the
So,
dorms. He's gonna live
yeah.
here for like 7 months.
Units. Yeah. Okay. But it's right. So, questions? Sure. So, I get it.
Use wax over time. So if you're-
1 hour.
Nice cards.
24 hours. Equals 1 day. 1 day. 7 days equals 1 week. And weeks is what we want. Hours cancel out, days cancel out, and we're back.
See, apparently, so I knew a full-time Spanish kid, and I went to school, I lost it.
So, as Jack was saying,
That's really
divide it, that's how he got his 28, right? And then he did divide it at 28 by 7. So it's the same thing that he did, although he did it just. Okay. Everybody get it? You're good?
Yeah.
Ready for it?
Yeah.
Good. Yeah.
What'd you do? Oh, shit.
That'll be the first time.
Is it 4 weeks now? Right?
Okay, so what distance? What distance expressed in miles would an automobile travel 3 hours at an average speed of 62 miles per hour?
Why are they only going that?
That's 62 times 3, bro. Right?
No way.
Hey, Edwin, you already volunteered.
What distance is less than miles from other champions?
Get a race. Nice, Jackson.
Oh, thank you.
Not ready to almost.
Sound.
Hey, what are you using?
Mexican old sound. Weird.
Mexican.
Hours.
Yes.
Like those units.
But then it's like they can like make it cooler for some. Don't have to voice.
Miles per what?
MPH.
Yeah, what's the Mexican Elvis? Like, he died.
Oh, Jose,
Per hour.
Vicente Fernández.
Wasn't that he sang like that in the voice and singing, but like when the album was like.
I'm not in the right mind space.
Take a minute, right?
Well, yeah, right.
But you're on the right track. You did that, right? The point is that miles per 1 hour.
Yeah.
It's 1 hour. So then that's the reason why. So that's how we make it. Right, that's how the answer is right. So.
Oh, yeah. Are you guys from Texas? Yeah. Have you ever been?
It's because last week, you're like, all right.
But you got to put the units and then
Prefer gloves too.
the units are gonna let you get, okay, so for instance. Go ahead, Nancy. So.
Where is it?
Just did it. All right, you're having a good day, you know? So, breathe, yes, breathe.
Why are we all laughing?
It's Monday. Monday is, you know, it's one of those.
No, we do lasagna.
What's that?
Yes, Mondays we lasagna.
I've been, why is the classic Saturday?
I never watched the cartoon. I never watched the cartoon.
Blame the school?
I'm saying cartoon. Oh, we should have lasagna. That makes me happy. So I guess
I mean, it was-
I would have made some.
Isn't Garfield the best friend like a dog?
What is?
Get tired of it. I can see how it's made. Like 2,000 of those, like, stuff.
Okay,
But I'm just like.
so
Somehow it's like biscuits and sausage. It's like 2 months old and still doing it by hand, like,
light travels at 3.00 times 10 to the 8 miles per second. How long does it take light to travel from the sun to the earth
A long time.
in units of minutes? A distance of 1.47 times 10 to the 8 kilometers.
they do this on a-
Okay, so what's my given?
just like we do,
So I heard somebody say distance of what? Distance of 1.47 times 10. 8 kilometers. Yes. I know you don't. That's why I put it on the board. Okay, so
What is it? What's that?
what are the units that I want to end up with?
Kilometers?
That,
Kilometers? Camp? Oh, miles. I
how
like-
long does it take? Okay, so it says in units of minutes, so we want what? Minutes,
Oh,
okay, so we want to end up with minutes. Okay, so then what am I gonna do? Half kilometers. Right, is there anything else that's given to me?
the old Mexican songs, like, so impressive.
3.00 times 10 to the 8 meters per second.
But it's like
Okay,
they dance to it,
so,
and
can I
they drink
convert
to it all.
kilometers into meters?
They drink from-
How would I do that? So I want to get rid of kilometers. But we know that 1 kilometer
Understand.
equals how many meters? 1,000. Okay, so then we have our conversion factor, right? Conversion factor are the ones we have units over another units to allow us to come from one unit to another type, right? So in this case, we have the 3.00 times 10 to the 8, and that's meters over 1 second. Okay, so so I have meters on top. Do I want meters? No, I want to get rid of meters. So then I'm going to put meters where? The bottom. So I'm going to put my 3.00 the 8th. Bottom, and I'm gonna put my seconds. Okay, so then if I want to go from seconds to minutes, how would I do that?
Divide. No.
How many seconds are in a minute? So I have 60 seconds. And 1 minute on top. This will be my answer in minutes. It's gonna do the heavy lifting. Start in the calculator.
Division. Oh,
I think you multiply the ones that aren't crossed out, so. 1.47 times 1,000. Never mind, go to the 8th. Shit.
Okay, so we have 10 to the 8th on top, 10 to the 8th on the bottom. We can cancel those out, right?
Yeah,
So then we just have 1.47 times 1,000 divided by 3 and then divided by 6.
are we going to be doing something?
You're gonna do this problems pretty much the rest of the
All
semester.
right, I put a text in, some calculator.
Okay.
then divided
That
by
should work.
3.
Imagine if it doesn't.
Bless you. Okay,
To cross it out with the 8. Am I just- That's
Questions?
one of the- Get rid of that
cheesecake? Straightforward?
sliver of cake.
How are you typing in the calculator?
You might just not have a calculator.
Times 10 to the 8th cancels out. And it's, there's one down here as well. They cancel out. Then all I have to type in the calculator is 1.47 times 1,000 divided by 3 and divided by 6.
Yeah, for a second.
So 1.47 times 1,000 divided by 3.
So 1.47 times 1,000 divided by 3, and then divide that by 60. Or you can say 1.47 times 1,000 divided by 8.
I got it.
4.9.
Okay,
8.166. Six. Wasn't there a thing too short in it?
yep, we rounded. Okay. Last one, and then we'll call it a night. Hard. It's a really, really hard one. Okay, a little girl broke her piggy bank. Inside, she found 22,608 pennies. How many dollars does she have? What was that?
Are we allowed to yell it out, or do you want to wait?
Yell it up, yell it up.
So it's $1.
No, we don't.
So 100,
Oh, so it was
It's just divided by one.
So we're starting off with my given, what's my given?
Wait, am I stupid? It's $26.
And you told me,
$1.
so $1 equals 100 pennies.
I don't want to actually pissed me off, so I came back.
For what?
It actually pissed me off one time, so I came back. Should be good. For no reason. Today's like you just-
Okay, questions? Yes,
So on the test, we have to show it like that or like in the simple?
if I can understand it, it's fine, you know? Like, for instance, the way Jack did it, long as Jack puts the units, because sometimes I may have another set of units, but long as you put the units, it's
Oh,
fine.
if we forget the units are fucked up.
Yeah, I take points off for units, yes. I also will take points off for significant figures, which we haven't got to yet.
So for that, there wouldn't be no, there would be no units, it would just be dollar sign?
Dollar sign is the unit.
Oh, okay.
Oh, right.
Okay, I will see you guys on
Wednesday.
Wednesday.